Welcome back to Overhead Athletics. Max Wardell, joined again by Pas. We actually just did a video with him on glove arm, so if you want to check that out from earlier this week, make sure to do that. All right, Pas, go ahead and get set for me here, dude. So he's just going to step like he's playing catch and throw. What you see here is a little deviation of the wrist this way. So go ahead and do it again. That's a compensation to try to get the ball in closer to the center of rotation. Go. Without actually flexing his elbow. So instead of flexing the elbow to get the ball in, he's done that to get the ball in. So now he's in this kind of compromised position of the forearm wrist, and he came in saying, hey, I'm slicing the ball, or it's actually cutting when I'm throwing it from third base to first base, where the ball's actually coming across arm side movement. And that's not really what we want on the infield, and it's not generally what we want pitching unless we're throwing a cutter or a breaking ball. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take him away from that position a little bit. So if you're actually slicing the ball or cutting the ball, here are the two faults that occur. Relax. You're either turning this way, so you're either supinating and coming out and around where you're doing this, or you are dropping the ball in and deviating your wrist where you're here when you should be more here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take him. Oh, this is radial deviation and extension. We're going to take him into neutral wrist and then ulnar deviation. So instead of doing this, he's going to do this now. And he's got to maintain this wrist position with a little turn away from the target through the forearm as he steps and throws. Now you throw it head height and net. So we're always working on trajectory. We're not working on to a target here because it's going to be very difficult for him to throw it accurately right now if he's just implementing this. So we get his body positioned where we want it. Hold this position of the forearm and wrist. I want head height and net. Go. Good. So now we're seeing that, hey, he's in a much more neutral position as opposed to this deviated position. Then we can have him work on taking the ball from here up to there. So if you're slicing the ball, you're cutting the ball across, you need to check whether you're doing this in the throw. Get your slow motion camera and see, are you right here or are you there as you come through? Then, secondarily, are you turning your forearm? It's coming across into supination, dragging out and around, both of which are things that Pascu did when he first came in. That was part of the reason he had medial elbow or inside the elbow pain. Squat, rotate. Think about that. Okay. Now from right there, I want this arm up. Okay. Keep this forearm position all the way through the throw. Go. Good. So now we're already starting to change what he's doing here. And just like that, his ball's going to have a spin like this instead of a spin or a revolution like this. It's just radial ulnar deviation. We know if we want to throw a sinker, we take ourselves all the way here, and we let the ball come off this way. We want to throw a cutter, we just do the opposite, basically what he's doing here. So we have a few different ways to throw those pitches. Wrist movement or forearm rotation changes how the ball moves. And so for an infielder, or for somebody rehabbing from medial elbow pain, somebody who's slicing the ball across, you got to make sure you're turned this way, away from the target, and you're not here, but you're there. So when you come through, you're here as opposed to there on the inside of the ball, cutting the ball. So one more time. And go. So now you can see he's what a lot of people might say on top of the baseball, as opposed to if he deviates this way and then comes off on the inside or the outside of the baseball and the ball comes off on the inside of his hand out in front, he's now going to be able to come through the ball this way. Very important for our outfielders and infielders. And if he turns his wrist this way, once again, he's on the outside of the ball's coming in. So forearm rotation, forearm position, super important. Wrist position, super important. If you're somebody that slices across, make sure you turn so you're a little more pronated, keeping the ball facing away from you, and then take the ball out of that position. We saw a rash of athletes that are extended and the ball's in to try to get the ball in closer when they should be actually flexing their elbow. Stay tuned for our next video, Overhead Athletics. Subscribe. I'll see you soon.